Ashanti was once the princess of hip-hop and R&B. She practically ruled the music industry in the early 2000s, and there was no one competing with her for her crown. But then, everything came crashing down when her team pulled an insane publicity stunt, which led to her disappearance from the public eye. And you'll never believe what actually went down back then. Ashanti's rise to fame definitely wasn't an easy one. She recorded 3 failed albums before she finally found her success. Most people in the music industry would have given up by that point, but Ashanti's case was very different. She didn't let her failed albums discourage her. If anything, they were the driving force behind the major success she went on to achieve after all those years of struggling. In 2002, Ashanti released her self-titled album, and that was when she began to get the recognition she deserved. In its first week of release, her album sold 503,000, making it the quickest ever selling debut album in history by any woman. This same album would also put Ashanti's name in the Guinness Book of Records, helping Ashanti to leave her mark on the music industry. Ashanti joined Irv Gotti's record label as a newbie in the music scene, wanting to make a name for herself, and that was exactly what she ended up doing. She was one of the most successful musicians to come out of the label, and everyone said that she was the next big thing. She was even compared to the likes of Beyonce. But the same record label that had given Ashanti her shot at fame was the same record label that caused her downfall. In 2003, federal officials stormed the label's offices, accusing the Gotti brothers of funneling and laundering money. This was right around the time the label was making waves. Its name was practically on everybody's lips, and then this happened. With this federal invitation and the high-profile dispute that the label had with 50 Cent, it didn't take long for their fall from grace to begin. And because of this, Ashanti's career actually took a huge hit, but somehow she still managed to remain at the top of her game, even though her career wasn't looking as bright as it did before. And then in 2008, a publicity stunt gone wrong managed to damage Ashanti's career a lot more than it helped to promote it. In 2008, Ashanti was set to release her album, The Declaration. After releasing the music video for one of the songs, her PR team decided to use the most bizarre publicity stunt ever to promote the video and the album. The stunt did bring her a lot of attention, but not in the way that she wanted. What happened was that Ashanti's team launched a website that would allow people to send out fake news reports to anyone of their choice just by filling out a personalized questionnaire. Then, out of nowhere, people started receiving really scary emails from a person who claimed to be a detective named James Nichols, who was allegedly the director of crime prevention for the Universal Crime Network. In the email being sent, people would receive a video asking them if they knew the person who was in the video, saying that if they did know the person, they should contact Detective James immediately because their life could be in danger. And this just gets crazier. Most people were freaked out by the mail, which was completely understandable. This made a lot of people click the link provided in the mail out of fear, just so they could reach Detective James. But instead of getting the contact details for the detective, people were directed to a news report about a series of copyright crime cases that were inspired by the video Ashanti had just released. And everyone went absolutely crazy when they realized what was happening, and not in a good way. I mean, if Ashanti was trying to promote horror, a thriller, or something along those lines of that, this would have probably made sense to a lot of people with the scary themes and all of that. But she was promoting an R&B song, and some people found it offensive that she'd even go that far just for publicity. Ashanti received a lot of backlash for this because people just couldn't believe how far she had gone to promote her song. It didn't take too long for her PR team to apologize for the stunt they pulled, but the damage was done and it was too late. While Ashanti was struggling to keep her music career alive, her personal life was also coming under threat. She was being stalked by Dever Heard, a man who made it very clear that he wasn't going to leave her alone. As if stalking her wasn't bad enough, he also decided to stalk Ashanti's mother, who was also her manager at the time. Ashanti supposedly felt like she was living in her very own personal nightmare where no one could come and save her. Then in 2009, Dever was actually convicted of stalking and harassing Ashanti. Finally, it felt like she had gotten rid of him for good, but he would later come back again, and this time with way more intensity than he had last time. Not only was he bothering Ashanti and her mother, but her sister also became one of his targets. Thankfully, Dever was arrested in 2013, and his final trial took place in 2016 when he was sentenced to between between 1 and 4 years behind bars. And like most of the stuff Ashanti had gone through, she found a way to move past this and focus on what she loved doing the most: making music. After leaving Irv Gotti's record label, Ashanti founded her own record label called Written Entertainment. She launched her label with a new single, The Woman You Love, featuring Busta Rhymes. She actually still releases songs to this day, but none of her songs have put her back on the map. Recently, there has also been a crazy amount of rumors about how Ashanti might be planning a surprise retirement from music. Apparently, she may be looking to retire because she's done with the music phase of her life and is looking forward to doing other things with her time. There's obviously no way to tell if this is real or not because Ashanti hasn't released anything official about this. But if this turns out to be the case, some people believe that if Ashanti were to retire now, it would be because she doesn't have much of a career to hold on to anyway, and not necessarily because she wants to move on. Part of the reason she's not as famous as she was is apparently that she's no longer in demand like she used to be. A couple of years back, she was scheduled to perform at a concert that didn't end up happening because of the extremely low ticket sales. Apparently, only 24 tickets were sold up to a week before she was supposed to perform, which obviously isn't a lot. So it seems like her career might actually be over, which is kind of sad considering that she was once compared to Beyonce. But her career didn't exactly turn out that way. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think it might be time for Ashanti to retire? And did you like her music? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below.